Yeah, they're all probably in a similar category, especially with Ward and Braytech. Ward, very quick. He's got good change of direction. He's a good student of the game. He's an ideal student athlete. And I think you could see him out there in situations. He'd give us a little bit of a JoJo, if you will, where the other guys out there do things differently. So he'll bring somebody that we can bring in as a change-up, and again works very hard and has picked things up pretty quickly. Jake is, I think, a talented freshman midfielder. Pick up the offense. We talked about the 4 seniors we have. Then it goes probably, Coleman, Zito, Eilers, in that group, and then the freshmen. So a lot will depend on that middle group and if they can step up. A lot of those guys have redshirted a year, so they're sophomores, juniors now, and they should be coming into their own. And if they come into their own, they're talented kids. They run and shoot well, and if they pick things up and make good decisions on the field, they should be out there. If they don't, then we've got freshmen that, if they're even with them or a little bit ahead of them, then they may get to go. And because we're going to make mistakes with them as freshmen, but they're going to be better at the end of the year. So there's a battle going on in there.
You said last year going into the first year of the Big East Conference that you as a program and a coaching staff are going to have to learn what it meant to play in the conference. Did you learn anything yet, or is it still too soon?
I think that I think we have learned, and we're getting a little bit used to the conference. I think the conference, has some really good teams and some teams that hopefully will come up by being in this conference. So we've learned that. And I think being a conference is like the regular season for us. And, I think we've learned that we can't take anybody lightly. So whether it's an opponent in the conference that we're supposed to be, then we've still got to come out and be excited to play and be motivated and play hard, just like we do with anybody else, on our schedule. And obviously the upper teams in the schedule, we're going to be, and in the conference, be, highly motivated to play them and for conference reasons along with everything else. But I think in the back of our minds, we're still, the conference is one thing, and the playoffs and the ultimate goal are another thing. So I think we're getting used to it. It adds some incentive to some opponents, especially when you're getting down near the end of your conference games for rankings within the conference. I think it's nice. There's some reward for some of the players for being, player of the week in the conference or in a position or what they might be in at the end of the year. Some extra accolades for guys who maybe wouldn't have got mentioned in the All-American Committee and things like that. So I think there's some very positive things coming out of it.
Is the quality of 6 years in there?
So 5 or 6 years ago, the face-off classic was basically it for a national stage for the regular season. Now your team's playing there, they're playing back in the new Giants Stadium, and again, just could you talk about this?
Yeah.
Could you talk about just going into those kind of venues, and are you getting a piece of that action?
Well, it's for where lacrosse was. We've talked about the growth of the game at the high school level, youth level, and I think now it's starting to grow at the top as far as people wanting to see top Division I teams play in these venues, and it certainly does help. They're helping with expenses, some help with budgets, and I think we're just at the start of all that, where there's starting to be some revenue for lacrosse, and it's pretty exciting for me, coming to Syracuse as a player, having to buy my jersey and drive our own car to away games, and we get a little bit of gas money and make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the ride, there and back. So now to see that change, revenue for the game, pay expenses, chartering planes and so on. And it's exciting. It's nice to see that growth of the sport, and yet it still has that college feel to it. And yes, and it's all good stuff. I think for us, to be in those venues helps everything. Helps with recruiting, helps being on national television. It helps the budget, and I think it's in those venues like it is in the Carrier Dome. It's like playing in a playoff atmosphere. So I think it prepares you for the playoffs, especially in those big venues also.
Coach, the coach and the alum here, what's it like? Just the environment around you, the success of football and basketball are having, and now the high expectations for you?
I think it's great, and I was excited as anybody to watch the football team play, in the Big City Classic in Yankee Stadium. And the way they performed was, very exciting for me. I was really impressed. I mean, I didn't, I'd heard all the coaches talking about that month or so off where they got the team prepared, and the way they were throwing the ball and the type of offense they were running. I was really excited to see that, win or lose. And then when they won the game on top of it, I thought that was icing on the cake and great for the program. With the change in coaches in the Big East, that will be interesting to see how recruiting will shake up, if we'll get a couple more than we thought we might. So all good stuff. And, Jim and I have had offices next to each other for more years than I care to count. And so it's always great when they win, and to see them on television the way they're playing right now. And I think if I think the community looks at the rest of the sports here at Syracuse University, we're going to see some teams have done pretty well, as far as track and field hockey, softball in the Big East. A lot of great things happening with all the sports. Women's basketball right now, and I know I'm probably missing a couple, but a great time to be here at Syracuse University, and a lot of coaches walking around with smiles on their faces.
Time for two more questions.
Talk a little bit about the defensive unit. Galloway, get Lee, White, get back, and Guadagnoli is supposed to be in the mix.
Yeah, well, I think that for years, a lot of people, because of our high-scoring offense and the style of ball that we play, have associated Syracuse with offense, and I think there's still some of that there. But I think our strength really the last couple of years, I think, has been with our defense, especially with John Galloway stepping up the way he's been playing in the goal. A lot of our games that were tight last year, we didn't have to outscore teams. We just had to be patient offensively, let our defense do their job, get stops, and keep giving our offense back the ball. And we were able to win. I'm not sure if we go back a number of years playing a different style defensively that we would have won all those games. So I think right now, really, the strength to our team coming back is the defense. Obviously, John Lade is coming back is terrific. He's been one of our top cover guy, for a few years now. McGill comes back now with a year of experience. He should be that much stronger. And we've got a great, battle going on for the third spot. Guadagnoli's done a nice job in the fall. Fazio, Hamlin, Harris as a freshman has been playing two positions, pole and close defense. There's probably another defenseman or two that's in the running for that. So it's competitive. I think we have a nice system going on. We have Joel White back. Not only is a great cover guy, but helps us get transition going. Kevin Drew should be healthy in the short stick, and a number of guys, with Harder, even Jovan Miller, Josh Hamadon, guys, two-way guys, could go back in the short stick department. So I think while our offense is, kind of figuring out who we are, I think our defense comes back pretty much intact, with the exception of Matt Tierney, and it should be one of our strengths again.
Final question for Coach.
You guys on the roster last night, on the roster tonight, any comments on that?
Yeah, who would you like to?
Parnell and
Ryan he left in the fall to go back and get things squared away academically. I think he's making some decisions on what he's going to do in the future. I think Spencer decided, with all where he is on the team and where he is in his class, that he's going to look to go somewhere else where he can get a smaller situation academically and lacrosse-wise. And with all our numbers, it's been very competitive, and I think he's just looking for a different environment.
Thanks, John.
All right.